2025 final standings prediction went a little like this. I want to start off with the AFC East, as we can see. And so I have the Buffalo Bills going 13-4, Jets 6-11, Patriots 6-11, and the Miami Dolphins going 4-13. Some of you are probably going to say, Dan, I'm pretty sure you did this a couple of months ago where you were a bit higher on the New England Patriots. I was. But then once you start including some of the recent acquisitions across the league, some things ended up changing. I am still high on New England to take that next step. I think Drake May is going to do very well. I think the more that I think about it, I think that Stephon Diggs might not be the same guy. I still wish they had a bit more in the wide receiver department, and there's going to be growing pains with a brand new regime. Maybe they can squeeze out a couple of games here and there. However, 6-11 for the Jets and the New England Patriots and 4-13 for the Miami Dolphins. I was in a conversation with a buddy who is a big Dolphins fan, and he's just like, how could you say the Dolphins are going that far into the wrong direction? And typically what I always like to say is, first off, zero offensive line, significant downgrades right in the corner position. I know that you're super happy about Minkah Fitzpatrick, but he can't cover all of that ground. And then how exactly is Tua going to prove that he can stay healthy? So that's the AFC East. I have the Bills 13-4, 6-11 for the Pats and the Jets, 4-13 for the Miami Dolphins. The AFC North got a little interesting, or a tad more interesting, if you will. This right here is a very difficult schedule for each and every single team in the AFC North. Very difficult. So not only are they playing themselves, but they are also playing the NFC North. So all of these teams have to play the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers, and also the Chicago Bears, who, as many of you know, I am very high on. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers now winning the division with a tied record with the Baltimore Ravens at 11-6. Have the Cincinnati Bengals going 10-7. Slight improvement from last year, but unfortunately missing the playoffs again. And the Cleveland Browns going 5-12, which I don't think many of us would be shocked from that, right? And so I did have the Browns winning a couple of divisional games because that's like normally uniform and season by season, but here we are. Next up, I have the AFC South, where the Jacksonville Jaguars end up stealing it from the Houston Texans, going a whopping 9-8. And since they own the tiebreaker with Houston, they end up getting the nod into the playoffs. As many of you know, I am not a big fan of the Houston Texans offensive line. I'm glad that they invested relatively heavily so within their weapon group, but I don't think it's going to be enough. When CJ Stroud is on his ass as often as he was in 2024, and you just really become worse at that position group, I'm not very high. We have the Indianapolis Colts going 6-11 and the Tennessee Titans going 3-14. I don't think anybody's really shocked there. Followed by the West, of course, you have those dastardly Kansas City Chiefs once again winning the division. I know that people like to hop on the bandwagon and say, I'm looking at the Chiefs and I'm looking at the regression of Patrick Mahomes' regular season production and for the past 2 years, and that is them. But now I'm looking at that wide receiver core that they have. And there's quite a bit of context I wanted to put into it. Last year, we're without Hollywood Brown, right up until I think the last 2 games of the regular season and going into the playoffs, and same thing with Rashee Rice. Now you have both of those guys back, plus Xavier Worthy. Maybe some question marks on the offensive line, but it's Andy Reid. And I have learned my lesson for betting against the Kansas City Chiefs. I will not do it until I am proven otherwise. Followed by the LA Chargers at 11-6. I have the Denver Broncos at 10-7, and I have the Las Vegas Raiders at 5-12. I am sorry for my Raiders buddy who comes in here and watches every now and again, but I suppose you're getting close. Here. Now moving on to the Washington Commanders, who have taken the NFC East from the Philadelphia Eagles. You heard it here, baby. This is the Jaden Daniels 2.0 sophomore season. Sophomore slump, give me a break. This guy is taking over the league. He will be in the MVP conversation. I can assure you that. They win the NFC East at 13-4, where the Philadelphia Eagles go 11-6. And remember, the exact same sentiment that I put toward the AFC North. Why I have the Eagles going around 11-6. Number one, a lot of turnover on that defensive line. Very effective over there. A lot of turnover. And they are also playing the AFC North, which is a very stacked type division. I could see both of these divisions internally and against themselves are going to have some struggles. Followed by the Dallas Cowboys going 9-8, a very Dallas Cowboys type season, and the Giants going 3-14. I don't think anybody is shocked, and I want to say that it would be between the Titans and the New York Giants for the first overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Maybe they end up welcoming Garrett Nussmeier to their organization for that campaign, but that's a conversation for a different time. Followed by the Detroit Lions at 12-5, winning their division. I have the Chicago Bears. I am a Chicago Bears truther, where they go 10-7 and make the playoffs. Have the Packers going 9-8, and of course, the Minnesota Vikings going 8-9. All right. As much as I love the idea of JJ McCarthy, let's be honest with ourselves. This is his rookie season. It's his red shirt rookie season. I think there's going to be some growing pains. So I see them having a bit of a regression in 2025. Followed by the NFC South. Have Baker Mayfield, the Bake Show, man. All right. Wide receiver after wide receiver after wide receiver. I think this is going to be a fun offense to watch. I think they end up winning the division. I'm high on Bryce Young from the Carolina Panthers. I think that he takes that next step, and I think that he ends up sliding his team into the playoffs, followed by the Falcons, a Michael Penix Jr. failed experiment. Here's a hot take. A lot of us are talking about, I wonder where Kirk Cousins is going to be traded to by the trade deadline. I have a feeling that Kirk Cousins ends up taking over for Michael Penix about like week 5, week 6. Hot take of the year. Kirk ends up getting the job back. And then followed by the Saints. It's first year of Kellen Moore. It's a rookie QB in Tyler Shough, 4-13. I feel like no one's shocked. Followed by the NFC West. You have 12-5. The LA Rams. I'm very high on this team. Watch for them. Have the San Francisco 49ers going 9-8. A very easy schedule. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's the easiest schedule in the NFL once all things are considered. But here we are. Have the Arizona Cardinals at 7-10. And then last but not least, I have the Seattle Seahawks at 7-10. And right here, you can see all of the playoff projections right here. Of course, our beloved Buffalo Bills are sitting at the number 1 overall seed. And then you also have the Washington Commanders at the number 1 overall seed for the NFC